Hi, welcome to Writings and Lessons. My name is Brenda and I teach piano using the Nashville number system. The number system is a charting method used in a variety of music styles, including worship, country, bluegrass, southern gospel, just to name a few. My goal with this channel is to give anybody who wants to play an opportunity to learn. I'm teaching with the assumption that you've never played and you're not familiar with charts or with the keyboard. Today, I'm going to introduce you to both. I'm going to introduce you to the keyboard and I'm going to introduce you to your first number chart. And at the end of the lesson, we'll play our first song using block chords. I look forward to teaching. Let's get started. So I'm sitting at my upright piano, and on any piano or keyboard you'll notice patterns of groupings of 3 notes and 2 notes. 3 notes, 2 notes, 3 notes, 2 notes. So what's happening are there's a repetition of the same notes all the way on the keyboard. So if you go to the group of 3 notes between the second and the third, that's A. Again, go up here to the 3 notes between the second and third note, A. It gets higher as you move to the right of the keyboard. Here's 3 notes between the second and third, A. So in music, the letters go from A to G. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. So down on the lower left side of the keyboard, here's 3 notes, again between the second and third, A. I'm gonna go way up to the right now, 3 notes between the second and third, A. And the link for the lesson, there is a handout that labels the keys for you with the letters, and so that will help you remember A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A. And then it just starts over again. 3 notes between the second and the third, 2, 3 notes between the second and third are A's. Again, A, A. It just repeats all the way up the keyboard. So this is the keyboard that I use to teach, and I've labeled the notes to help my students. We said earlier that A is located between the second and the third note of the group of 3 notes on the keyboard scale. We're gonna learn from the C major scale, and then later we'll talk about playing in other keys. We're gonna use C because the C scale has no sharps or flats, and it's just easier to learn the concepts. So C is located where there's a group of 2 notes on the scale, and then you go down to the left. So here's 2 notes, you can go down to the left, and there's C. 2 notes down to the left, C. From this C to this C is an octave. From here to here, from one C to the other, whether you go up or whether you go down, it's called an octave. So anywhere on the keyboard when you see the group of 2 notes and you go down to the left, it's the C note. So the C scale goes C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. And in the number system, the key that we're in, which is C, is 1. And so you take the major scale, which I just played, and you number it. And so you can see I've numbered my keys up here so that when I'm playing, I can still see the numbers. I've used Sharpies to do this. You can get stickers that peel off easily so that you don't harm your instrument. And you may want to just memorize without labeling your keys. It's completely up to you. So when you're looking at the C scale, whatever key you're in is 1. So C is 1, D is 2, E is 3, F is 4, G is 5, A is 6, B is 7. In the number system, it's whatever key you're in. So if we were in another key, if we were in G, then you would use the G major scale and G would be 1. But for now, we're talking about the C major scale. So C is 1. Now we're going to talk about chords. So we're going to use the numbers on the C scale. And so we'll start talking about very basic chords, and I'll talk about ways to make them more complex and sound prettier and fancier later on. But we're going to start with just very simple basics. So the 1 chord, you put your thumb on the 1, you skip a note, skip a note. As long as you're using your thumb, I don't really worry, or it doesn't bother me which fingers you're using. It really depends on the size of your hand, but you have to use your thumb. It's not typing, so you use your thumb and then kind of bend your hand so that the pads of your finger are touching the keys. So C, E, G is the 1 chord. Keep your fingers in that same position and move every finger up. And now we have the 2 chord, which is D minor. And I'll talk more about minor chords in a future lesson. So the 2 chord is D, F, A. Again, I'm skipping a note and skipping a note here. Keep your fingers in the same position and move each one up to the 3 chord, which is E minor. So here's the 3, E, G, B. There's a handout that illustrates all of this for you. Now we're going to move to the 4 chord, which is F, F, A, C. Keeping your fingers in the same position, move every finger up to the 5 chord, G, B, D. Now we're going to go to the 6 chord. Again, same thing. Every finger goes up. A, skip a note. C, skip a note. E. And then the 7 chord would be B, D, F. We really won't use this chord a lot for a while. And now we're back to the 1 chord. Again, if you go down an octave, we're going to put our thumb on the 1, skip a note, and there's the 1 chord. For now, when we're playing with our left hand, we're just going to keep it very simple. So while you're playing a chord with your right hand, you'll play the same note with your left. With your left hand, some of my students' tendency is to do like this, and you may be able to do that for some of these first few songs. It's pretty simple, but that's compromising your ability later on, because you're going to want to play more notes. So since this is the 1 and we're going to be playing up to the 6 for the most part with our left hand for now, keep your fingers bent, keep them loose. You don't want stress in your arm. If you start feeling tight or stressed in either arm, your arms are gonna feel very tired. So keep them loose, shake them if you need to, just to keep them loose and limber. So let your fingers live between the 1 and the 6. So if you're playing a 1 chord, you play it with your right hand playing the same chord. So let's say there's 4 beats in a measure. So it would be 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm playing the chord that we just talked about with my right hand and the same note with the left. 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's say we're going to a 6 chord now. So the right hand would go to the 6 chord, and the left hand, you don't even have to move your hand because you're just going to grab the 6th note with your thumb. And the same with the 4, the 5, the 2, the 3. Your fingers, you have access to those notes with your fingers, and you're not even having to move your hand. And before long, you'll be able to grab those notes without even having to look specifically, because most people wind up assigning a finger to each note. So again, 1 note with your left hand, chord with your right hand. We're going to use the chords that we just learned to play our first song, Amazing Grace. The time signature tells you how many beats is in each bar or measure. Bar and measure mean the same thing. I'll probably use both terms throughout our lessons. In this very basic arrangement, each number represents a separate bar. And so each number gets 3 counts. So you'll play the 1 chord like we learned earlier, and it'll be 3 beats. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Now you're going to the 4 chord, thumb on the 4, 1, 2, 3. Now back to the 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to the 5 chord, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now back to 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3 to the 4 chord, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Go to the 5 chord, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Now we're going to play Amazing Grace with my daughter singing, and again we'll count 1, 2, 3 for each bar. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, Congratulations, you finished your first lesson. So in the drop-down menu of this video, you will find a handout that says Lesson 1, and it just documents some of the basic reminders that we talked about today. There's also a chart of Amazing Grace that we used in the lesson. Amazing Grace is public domain, so we're not breaking any copyright laws or anything. Remember that all skills take time. You're not gonna learn piano or any other skill overnight, or at least I've never met anybody who's done that. So watch the video. Think about how you learn. It may be that reading the handout over several times helps. It may be watching the video, but give yourself some grace. Take time and have fun with it. It's so nice to be able to sit down and play the piano, whether you play on a stage or whether you're in your living room, just enjoying the therapy of music. Also, if you want to learn more about me, more about writings and lessons, my website is writingsandlessons.com. If you want to join the community of Writings and Lessons, please send an email to writingsandlessons@gmail.com, and I will add you to my email list and send out communications when new content is ready and more lessons are available. So have fun, and I'll see you next time.